What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Plusgirlslay, the channel. My name is Talia, and I have a little bit of explaining to do.
I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin.
So, I started a paralegal series in January. I was hoping to get through it and then start a whole new series in February, but, well, girl, school has been kicking my ass. I started a second job. I did a little bit of traveling, and I just can't get it together. But I definitely want to finish my paralegal series, so I'm going to finish the last two portions of the paralegal series now. So let's get started. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about making a good schedule for your degree in paralegal studies. This, of course, is the most important part because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to take classes in an order where you know you're not going to be able to complete them, or you're going to have to retake something. I see a lot just students who didn't quite do a good schedule, or they overexerted themselves and they can't keep up and they end up retaking something, which means you have to pay for that class all over again, and who wants to do that? Okay, so the first tip is choosing the correct electives. Electives are a good way to kind of see what you like and what you don't like, and I feel like a lot of people don't take advantage of that. Your electives are not meant to keep your interest in that degree program. It's not meant to keep you interested in being a paralegal. They're meant to see how you can diversify your portfolio as a paralegal. So for me, I wanted to learn more about family law, so I took a lot of family law type electives. I wanted also to know about the business side of it, so I did business electives. I've taken computer and technologies as far as paralegals are concerned. So instead of going from job to job, with firms that you're not quite interested in that practice, take that time in your electives, because one, you need electives to complete any degree, whether it's a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree or a certificate. So utilize those that you're already paying for it as well, to kind of see and hone in on your interests versus going from job to job because you're not interested. Counselors, utilize your counselor. Unfortunately, in my degree program, counselors, they have such a huge range of students that they have to deal with, so they're not always super helpful. But try to also buddy up with someone that's in your program, an adjunct professor or a professor that you tend to mesh well with. They'll be able to give you like the tea on class flows and things like that. So utilize your counselors. That's what they're there for, to help guide you and make sure that you're not taking something that you don't need, or they can even assess your schedule to see if the workload is beneficial for you. Ask students who've taken those classes, isn't it so crazy in this world of technology how scared we are to talk to each other? It's going to be very important for you to, one, get to know people who you're in class with, for any other reason than like, hey, I missed this class, I need the notes. But it's also good to talk with those people because you can ask them about classes that you have yet to take and have to take. That is something that really helped me build my schedule, was asking students that had taken that class about the workload and little tidbits that only students would kind of get. For instance, it was a class, I didn't know if I'm going to take it as an elective. It was an interest, but I didn't know about it. And just from talking to a student in the hallway, I was able to learn like, oh, that class had a lot of busy work, not necessarily active teaching. And so just from that, I was able to I didn't take that class because she was like, yeah, it's a lot of book work, they lean on the book a lot, it's not a lot of interactive or in real examples, which is how I thrive as a student. So it was really nice. You also want to talk to students because they'll understand what you're going through, because they're also taking those classes. But in that understanding, you may be able to find someone who you can lean on to during the program. I have a friend that I can vent to when I get a little bit frustrated, and that's also important as well. But utilize your peers, because they have a wealth of knowledge and a different perspective from your own. Be careful of a heavy workload. Paralegal program is a lot of reading, it's a lot of writing. If your program is anything like mine, it mirrors very much like a law student's. It mirrors very much like a law student's kind of workload, which is very heavy. It's reading intensive, writing intensive. So you want to be careful. You can easily, if you talk to a professor or a counselor or a fellow student, you can gauge your workload. And counselors and professors, from my personal experience, are really good at saying, "Ooh, that class is very hard." For instance, I had to take Logic in the Law in the fall, and I was going to take Logic in the Law and Constitutional Law. And they were, I spoke with everyone, and I spoke with the counselor, I spoke with the professor, and I spoke with someone that took the class, and they just recommended like not taking them together. And I'm actually so glad I did, because Logic in the Law was very work intensive, whereas U.S. constitutional law is really thinking, open dialogue. And so I wouldn't have really had the time to look up those things or put time and effort into understanding everything that I'm learning in constitutional law, that if I would have been taking Logic and the Law together. It just, no. Try to take your hard classes as soon as possible. The harder classes tend to be your required classes. You want to take those as soon as you can. 1, because of availability. 2, because you just want to get it out the way so you can coast the rest of your degree program. 3, because it's going to help build a momentum. If you do your hard stuff first, you're going to go into it like working hard, and then when you get to some of the easier things, you still have that work ethic from then. Availability is super important. If your program is anything like mine, they cut classes during the summer, so you could put yourself behind an entire semester. Girl, another story for another day. But if you don't plan carefully, you can put yourself behind an entire semester, because they may not offer something that you're required or have to take during certain times. So take your required classes as soon as you can. Don't wait to the last minute. Your last semester is not the semester to take all of the difficult classes. That is so ass backwards. I don't understand why people do that, but do not do that. Save yourself, girl. Senioritis and trying your best. I'm gonna put this down because I'm gonna talk to y'all about that for just a second. So senioritis is something that I'm dealing with because it is my last year in undergrad, and thankfully my motivation is to finish. I have noticed that I'm not as fervent or about classes as I was when I first started, because at this point, like, I'm ready to finish. But the best way to kind of not get that overboard or take your time with that is to remember why you started. I started because it's something that I wanted to do, and I'm not letting anything and no one take that away from me. So remember why you started and keep it going. So that is it for this video. I'm sure it's not going to be very long at all. I hope you took away some good gems. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, make sure to do it bigger and better in true plus size fashion. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.